Welcome to Keeping Up with the Dream SMP. Here is some fan art that I got over these last couple of weeks. Thank you so much for that, by the way. And here are my two favorite comments from the last episode of Keeping Up with the Dream SMP. I'm your host, V, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, all that stuff, and then let's jump right in. So, on June 9th, Fundy and Quackity meet up. This is also the first time that Fundy meets Slimesicle, who is canonically known as Slime now, and their interactions are very interesting. Now, the first time that Fundy came to Las Nevadas, Quackity told him that he needed to work on himself more before he would be able to join the country. And so he did work on himself. And this time, Quackity gives him a contract detailing the responsibilities of being a Las Nevadas citizen. The rules are, basically, pay your taxes or die, participate in war and possibly die, gamble in casinos to lose all the money that would make life worth living for, own land, and then follow the rules or die. And so Fundy signs away his right to life to Las Nevadas, and he becomes a citizen. And I'm not sure if it's important or anything, but he also didn't read the last page of the book. I should also mention the way that Slime acts in this stream. It's clear that he's been spending a little bit too much time around Wilbur. Just things along the lines of nothing matters, nobody will remember us when we die, we're all just going to be 6 feet under the ground one day. Like, stuff like that. And obviously he doesn't fully understand what he's saying because he tends to just parrot the things that people say around him. So as citizens of the country, they all go to investigate Tubbo's Tower, which is suspiciously close to Las Nevadas. They don't really do much other than like break a few windows and throw some dirt and cobblestone around. They also get the idea to build a toll bridge so that they could charge whoever wants to enter the country. And then Quackity assures Fundy that there will be no betrayal or backstabbing in this nation. He also asks about Fundy's dream and briefly brings up the idea of using them against their opponents to change the outcome of the future. As you do. Now Fundy is visibly really uncomfortable by the idea of changing fate, so Quackity quickly drops the idea and apologizes. Quackity also finally tells Fundy about their next-door neighbors, Tommy and Wilbur. It's clear that he waited for Fundy to accept the citizenship before he told him about this, and Fundy is kind of upset that he wasn't told earlier, but then later he goes to stand in his plot of land, and then ponders about possibly having to fight his own father to protect this land. And then we go to Purpled's stream. In the aftermath of everything that happened with the Red Banquet and the explosion of his UFO, he has chosen a simple life of fishing and farming with his beloved dog, Dogchamp. However, this doesn't last long as he notices a certain goopy guy spying on him. Slime tries to distract Purpled and get away, but he just comes off as very obvious. Purpled tries to ask him questions and only barely manages to piece together the fact that Quackity sent Slime in as a spy. Eventually, he stops going after Slime and just asks to be left alone. He returns to his house and slowly starts moving all of his valuables into an underchest. What Quackity said to him about having no legacy on the server has clearly been getting to him. He rambles about how no one on the server could name 3 things about him if they tried, and how no one would really notice if Purpled's house was just gone one day. And so, in classic Fundy style, he fills his house with TNT and blows everything up. Out of the corner of his eye, he catches Slime spying on him again. At first, he's annoyed, but he quickly changes his tune when he realizes how little of a threat he actually poses. Throughout this stream, he makes various comments about how Slime doesn't have a single thought in his head. He also seems to notice that Slime isn't actually human, which he doesn't understand fully, but ignores for the most part. And so, with all of his possessions in hand, and Slime and Dogchamp following closely behind, Purpled makes his way to Las Nevadas. He meets Quackity there, and their interaction is a little rough around the edges. Big Q apologizes for blowing up the UFO, saying that it wasn't the best way to get his point across. He also says that while he doesn't see good in people anymore, he still sees opportunity in people like Purpled. Purpled, in turn, says that he and Quackity will never be friends. They may be on the same team, with the same goal of going down in server history and being known for something, but they are not friends. Quackity is more open to being friends, but understands Purpled's nature, and even goes as far as to offer him citizenship without having to sign the official documents. He says he's willing to take a gamble for him. They briefly discuss rebuilding the UFO in Las Nevadas, and Purpled's plot of land, and then the stream ends. On Ranboo's stream, he reads a letter sent to him by the Council. The Council, for those of you who don't know, are a group of Endermen that Ranboo consults occasionally. He speaks to them in Ender and asked them to keep tabs on Wilbur a while ago. The significance or true purpose of the Council is still unknown. So the letter basically tells him that he can't play an idle role in the things that are happening around him. He needs to be more active. In order to do that, he was given a netherite axe named the Axe of the End in Ender, enchanted with sharpness 5, unbreaking 3, and mending. He heads over to Tubbo's outpost. Now, let's get a little bit more information on this. Tubbo created this outpost as a means to keep an eye on Las Nevadas, to catch trouble before it can affect Snowchester and all. The plan was called Operation Cookies, as the outpost was meant to be disguised as a cookie shop. The problem is, by the time Quackity, Slime, and Fundy found it, they had only gotten as far as making the building. So they pretty easily figured out that it was just a place to watch Las Nevadas from and vandalized it. Okay, back to Ranboo. He goes to the outpost to make it look more like a cookie shop, and is unpleasantly surprised by the vandalism. At first, he wonders if Tubbo made some weird interior design decisions, or perhaps there was a storm, before he eventually realizes that it was probably just vandalized. He leaves a few signs basically saying, "Don't vandalize this place. It's a cookie shop, but there aren't any cookies in it yet, so leave it alone or violence will occur." What a pleasant thing for a cookie shop to say to its future customers. And so after that, Ranboo just kind of loiters around Las Nevadas. He makes a hidey hole in the strip club, which he believes is for stripping logs. He also places a block above Dogchamp to protect him from the rain, pretends to steal a block of netherite, and gets up to a few more antics. He makes a to-do list to figure out things like what the black pillars are around Las Nevadas, or why the buildings are all hollow. On June 15th, Sapnap released a teaser for Lore. It's just him standing in front of the community house, flashing back between its destruction and the present day. And then at the end, there's a screen that says Memories Gone, Chapter 1. I think we can expect a cinematic format like the Las Nevadas series, which seems to be a growingly popular way to storytell in the Dream SMP. On June 18th, Quackity talks to Ranboo, asking him to make sure that Tubbo doesn't overstep his boundaries. He also says that the cookie shop just has to move. It's too close for comfort. And now that he's wary of protecting Las Nevadas overall, Quackity decides that he has to come up with a defense plan. As he goes to get the materials to build the walls higher, he runs into Foolish. It turns out that Tommy went and kidnapped Slime because Foolish wouldn't give him Linda his shovel back, but we'll come back to that in a sec because Ranboo and Quackity are discussing the outpost again. They both bicker about it for a bit, trying to compromise, before eventually deciding to just talk about it again when Tubbo is present. Okay, now back to the Linda stuff. Quackity says he'll talk to Tommy because he's probably just lashing out about something going on in his life. And then along the line of protection, Quackity also says that there should be some kind of underground system, as well as a proper set of laws. He tells the other members of Las Nevadas about these ideas, and they all agree. And then our very last lore stream for today is going to be the Techno and Dream podcast episode. Techno is still extremely chill about the fact that he's in prison, and even treats it like a vacation, while Dream gets frustrated that Techno doesn't seem to have a plan to get them out. Techno tries to get Dream to give him the Revive Book knowledge, unsuccessfully so, and eventually they get the idea to use the Revive Book on someone that is already alive. And so Dream uses it on Techno, and they accidentally end up summoning Dream XD. Now Dream XD is like the god of the Dream SMP, and so he grants them one wish. And Technoblade spends it on a bell just as the sellout timer goes off. 500 channel memberships later, they try to summon Dream XD again to no avail. Dream is pretty pissed about the way that Techno chose to spend the wish, considering that they could have been out of prison by now. But finally, Techno comes up with a plan to get out. So the plan is to punch the obsidian under the toilet and any obsidian underneath that, punch the Elder Guardian underneath to death using the Revive Book if needed, and then punch away at the cobblestone to escape. Honestly, I'm not sure why Dream didn't come up with that within the 5 months or 6 months that he's been in jail. Now supposedly, breaking obsidian with your fist under Mining Fatigue 3 can take up to 26 hours according to Techno. I'm not sure if this is a lore thing or if this is actually true, but... So yeah, Dream starts punching, and that's the end of the stream. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Keeping Up with the Dream SMP. Remember to like this video, subscribe. I spend a lot of time writing scripts and editing the videos and doing everything else. So I really appreciate that support. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.